In the heart of a sun-drenched farm, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling lake, lived a charming family of cats. Mama Katya, a calico cat with a heart of gold. Papa Dimitri, a sturdy gray tabby. And their three adorable kittens. Poppy, a playful orange tabby. Leo, a curious black and white tuxedo cat. And Luna, a graceful long hair with a splash of white on her chest like a tiny bib. Their days were filled with simple pleasures, chasing butterflies in the tall grass, taking naps in patches of warm sunlight, and of course, helping out on the farm whenever they could. One day, as the family was enjoying their breakfast of freshly caught fish and warm milk, Mama Katya announced, "It's a beautiful day, my little ones. Why don't we all go exploring in the meadow?" The kittens, always up for an adventure, purred with excitement. Even Papa Dimitri, who usually preferred relaxing at home, couldn't resist the allure of a sunny day. And so the whole family set off towards the meadow, each with their own hopes for what they would find there. As they ventured deeper into the meadow, the tall grass tickled their bellies, and Poppy could unhelp but chase after the butterflies that fluttered around her. She was the most playful of the litter and loved nothing more than to frolic in the fields. Leo, on the other hand, had his nose pressed against the ground, sniffing out all the interesting scents. His curiosity knew no bounds, and he often got himself into funny situations by chasing after bugs or trying to dig up the tastiest-looking worms. Luna, the eldest and most graceful of the kittens, walked beside Mama Katya, her blue eyes sparkling with wonder. She loved observing the world around her and often found beauty in the smallest of things, like the delicate petals of a wildflower or the intricate patterns on a butterfly's wings. Meanwhile, Papa Dimitri kept a watchful eye on his little ones, making sure they didn't stray too far or get into trouble. He was a patient and loving father, always ready to lend a helping paw when needed. As they explored, Mama Katya shared stories about the meadow with her kittens, teaching them about the plants and animals that lived there. She told them which berries were safe to eat and which ones were poisonous, which flowers could be used to make tasty teas, and which herbs could help with a cat's cold. The kittens listened attentively, soaking up their mother's wisdom. Suddenly, Poppy let out a loud squeak and ran towards a patch of sunflowers. "Look! Look!" she exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. A family of rabbits just popped out from under the hay bales over there. Leo and Luna gasped and carefully approached the sunflowers, trying to catch a glimpse of the rabbits, but the little cottontails were too quick and disappeared before they could be seen. "I wish we could play with them," sighed Poppy, disappointed. Just then, Mama Katya noticed a small movement behind a bush. She crouched low to the ground and whispered, "Cess, do you hear that? There's a field mouse hiding over there." The kitten's eyes lit up with excitement. Playing hunter and mouse was one of their favorite games, and Luna couldn't wait to try her hunting skills. With Mama Katya's guidance, the kittens crept closer to the bush, their paws making barely a sound on the soft grass. They peeked around the leafy branches and spotted a tiny field mouse with a twitching nose and a bushy tail. "Ready, set, go," Mama Katya whispered, and the kittens pounced. They chased the mouse through the tall grass, over logs, and under bushes, with Poppy leading the way. The little field mouse was quick and agile, dodging this way and that to evade its furry predators. But the kittens were persistent and eventually cornered the mouse near a babbling brook. As the game came to an end, the kittens sat down beside the brook, panting slightly from their exertion. Instead of pouncing on the mouse, though, they simply stared at it curiously. "Why don't we eat him?" asked Leo, his voice filled with wonder. Mama Katya smiled and said, "We played a good game, Leo, but we won't eat our friend. Let him go." And with that, the kittens watched as the little mouse scampered away, disappearing into the tall grass. As the day wore on, the family continued their exploration of the meadow. They climbed trees, chased butterflies, and even took a dip in the cool water of the babbling brook. By the time the sun began its slow descent, they were tired but happy, their hearts full of the day's adventures. As they made their way back home, Papa Dimitri carried a small bouquet of wildflowers that he had picked for Mama Katya. The calico cat purred with delight and tucked the flowers behind her ear. "Thank you, my love," she whispered, nuzzling against him. Back at the cozy farmhouse, the family gathered together for dinner. After a hearty meal of fish and cream, they curled up beside the fireplace, each lost in their own thoughts. Leo was the first to break the silence. "I want to explore the meadow again tomorrow," he said, his eyes shining with excitement. Poppy and Luna nodded in agreement, and even Papa Dimitri couldn't help but smile at his little one's enthusiasm. Of course, Mama Katya said, her voice filled with warmth. But remember, no matter where you go or what you do, always stay curious, brave, and kind. The world is full of wonders, and you never know what adventures may come your way. The kittens snuggled close to their parents, feeling loved and safe. And as the fire crackled merrily in the hearth, they drifted off to sleep, dreaming of meadows filled with butterflies, babbling brooks, and most importantly, the unwavering love of their family. As the sun rose the next morning, casting its golden rays over the farm, the family of cats awoke, ready to start another day of fun and adventure. Little did they know that today held a special surprise. After a breakfast of fresh fish and warm milk, the family set out for the meadow. However, today, instead of going the usual way, Papa Dimitri decided to take them through the whispering woods. The kittens' eyes widened in surprise as they entered the shadowy woods. Sunlight streamed through the leaves, creating a magical, ever-changing kaleidoscope of light and shadow on the forest floor. The air was filled with the sweet scent of pine needles, and the sound of birdsong echoed all around them. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the tall trees seemed to form a cathedral-like canopy overhead, creating a hushed, reverent atmosphere. The kittens, usually so boisterous and full of energy, suddenly felt a sense of awe and wonder. They walked in single file, their senses heightened, as if the very trees themselves were watching their every move. Suddenly, Poppy, the smallest of the kittens, stopped in her tracks. Her ears perked up, and she stared intently at something ahead. "What is it, Poppy?" asked Luna, noticing her sister's sudden stillness. Poppy, without taking her eyes off the path ahead, whispered, "Do you hear that? There's music." And indeed, as they stood there listening, they heard the faint strains of a melody drifting through the trees. It was a hauntingly beautiful tune that seemed to tug at their hearts. Curiosity piqued, the family of cats began following the sound. The melody grew louder, and as they rounded a bend in the path, they came upon a clearing, and what they saw before them took their breath away. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent oak tree. Its branches, laden with sparkling ornaments, reached up towards the sky like welcoming arms. Beneath the tree sat an assortment of creatures, all gathered together as if for a grand celebration. There were rabbits and squirrels, birds and deer, and even a wise old owl perched on a nearby branch. And playing the music was a family of hedgehogs. They were gathered in a circle, each holding a different musical instrument, and they played with such skill and passion that it brought tears to the eyes of the cat family. As the music reached its crescendo, the creatures in the clearing began to dance. The rabbits hopped and skipped, the squirrels leaped and twirled, and the deer pranced gracefully, their movements as fluid as the music that created them. The cat family watched in awe, completely captivated by the sight before them. They had stumbled upon a hidden world, a place where animals came together to celebrate the joys of friendship, music, and nature's beauty. And as the melody filled the clearing, the cats felt a deep sense of peace and belonging wash over them. They realized that no matter how different creatures might seem on the outside, they were all connected by the invisible bonds of friendship and love. And in that moment, as the music swelled and the animals danced, the cat family knew they had witnessed something truly magical.